In this video, we're going to talk about solutions, and so we're going to be looking at how osmosis works in a cell throughout different solution types. So, as you remember, osmosis is water moving from high to low concentration. And water is always going to move from that high to low, so we have three solution types we're going to look at. The first is called hypertonic solution, and water concentration is actually higher on the inside of the cell than the outside, and the solute concentration is higher on the outside, so that makes it a little bit different. Solute would be like salt. So we have water moves from inside of the cell out, which then causes the cell to shrink. So we see in this picture, we have a before picture where we have 90% water, 10% salt. And let's just make a little note here. Solute equals salt. This is something that can dissolve in a solvent being like water. What's going to happen here is because we have a 95% is higher than 90%, the water is going to flow out of the cell. Now, because of Brownian motion, we get a little bit going in because of this movement, random movement. So we have a little bit going in, but the majority will be going out. So as you can see in the after, what we see here is that the cell shrinks because all of that water has gone out of the cell into the surrounding area, making the cell smaller. And you don't need to draw this, but what you'll see here is if this is the bloodstream, for example, and there's a cell, and it gets into a high salt or sugar on the outside, and the water concentration is higher on the inside, you can see that the cell will shrink because there's more sugar on the outside. So we have higher sugar, which means lower water on the outside than on the inside in here. So water comes out. Hypertonic, as you can see here, we have the E underlined. Hyper shrinks or shrivels up like an E. If you think of an E as an O that we just took the part and pinched it in, so we kind of shrivel it up. That's a memory trick that you can use for hypertonic. Hypotonic solution is where the water concentration is higher on the outside and that it is on the inside, and their solute concentration is higher inside than on the outside. So what we see is that water moves into the cell from the outside, which will cause the cell to swell as the water enters it. So if water's coming in, obviously it's blowing it up. Like if you put air into a balloon, it blows it up. Hypotonic solution, you can see here we have 95% water, 5% salt. On the outside we have 100% water, 0% salt. This is a distilled water. Distilled water is pure water. And because 100 is higher than 95, the water is going to come in with a little bit sneaking out because of Brownian motion. So what happens is if all that water is coming in, the cell is going to swell up and get bigger. So hypotonic solution, the cell will swell up like a big O. So O, O. Lastly, we have isotonic solution. This is where the water concentration is equal inside and out. The solute concentration is equal inside and out. This is a normal situation, so the water goes out in and out equally, and the cell size stays exactly the same. So in an isotonic solution, we have 95% water on the outside, 95% water on the inside. So water comes in and water goes out. Water comes in, water goes out. It's all equal, so we have going in, going out, and so cell stays the same. And that's an isotonic solution. This takes a lot of practice. takes a lot of memorization to remember so that you can analyze and make the right call when you read a scenario.